Do you ever wonder why business feels hard? Everything you do to fill your sales events or to get views and engagement on your social media, it just feels like an uphill battle. Well, what I am learning currently is that building a brand truly is the easy button to business. This is a brand new realization for myself and Kat as the sales girls. Like, we love to sell, and learning how to focus our attention to what does it look like to build a brand and truly become famous. Omar has helped us so much with this mental shift and also with the tactics. In fact, in this video, he is coaching us on exactly what steps we can take in 2025 to make sure that happens. So Omar El-Takori, welcome to the channel.
Excited to be back.
We are so excited to talk to you right now because 2025, our obsession is brand. I'm telling you, eat, sleep, breathe, dream brand. Can I tell you like the story? And then I want you to, I just have so many questions for you because we are always thinking about filling our like conference or events that we do. Have you ever filled an event, like an in-person event?
In person? Well, I guess like smaller, intimate
you're smaller,
stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's no joke getting
sure.
people to come in person. A large conference. Like I remember Myron doing his, Offer Mastery Live and just talking about how hard it was. And it's just really hard. And at the time of me thinking about like filling our next event, Taylor Swift was on her tour, her Eras tour. And I had this realization. I was like, wow. So when Taylor put, Eras tour, the only problem she was dealing with was making sure Ticketmaster didn't plummet. That was all she was doing. She don't think about filling nothing. Mm-hmm. She just, how do I manage the overflow? And ever since I had that kind of connection, I know that's an extreme example, but I was just like, whoa, what if there was a universe in which all we had to do was say sales girls? And it was like, okay, we just have to find the event that's big enough. We have to manage all the people. We have to have enough food. Like those were the problems we were dealing with. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, we're like, okay, that is our obsession. Mm-hmm. And like that. And before this interview, I was like, hey, are you like studying brand at all? Because there's this concept of like brand overkill. Alex Ramosi talked about it in a podcast. He was like, North Face will send somebody, into Iceland with a North Face jacket on and hiking Iceland, in the freezing snow. And people are like, wow, you know what? If he can hike Iceland in a North Face, I think I can drive to work in 39-degree weather in a North Face. It's like so overkill that everyone else is like, oh, maybe I could do that. Mm-hmm. And so that's been our next just like thought. And honestly, YouTube is like growing your YouTube is totally a brand overkill moment. So anyway, I just love to know your thoughts on that. Yeah. And if you could think about, okay, Macy, Kat, sales girls, if I could give you the steps where you could have the Taylor Swift effect in the next year,
come on,
what would those be?
Good. Well, glad to be here.
I went in because I'm like,
it's really good. It's crazy because like, I think what we used to do is we used to make brand about conglomerate.
What does that mean?
Like about corporate. It was like the brand of the companies was where the focus was.
Right.
But now it's like the brand of the person or the people.
Yeah.
And it's why you see people that are highly successful build their brand. Like when I think about the two sharks, Robert Herjavec and Mr. Wonderful. They both started YouTube and like
did they?
Yeah, taking it serious. But what they're really trying to do. Let's just unpack. First, let's say this journey is a great journey to be on because I found that branding has made my life easier in every way. I'm getting indoors because I have a brand. I'm getting podcast guests because I have a brand. I'm getting paid for weird stuff. That's weird.
Like what?
Like
good weird.
Like people will pay me to be on this or to be on my podcast, and if I'm okay with it, like $20,000. Like why? Because of brand.
Wow.
It's made my life easier. Now I will backtrack and say that I didn't know I was building brand when I was building brand. So there is something about a blissful approach to building it, and it's because I would say all brand is trust.
Really?
And it's why I don't believe you could buy brand. Or you can't, true trust. You can't buy trust. You could build it over time. And that's why YouTube is one of the greatest brand builders for personal branding, because time spent on your content is how people get to know you. And more than a viewer, stat on YouTube, watch time and real-time views are the most powerful metrics. And watch time is how much time is spent on your channel. And so like last year, it was like a little over 500,000 hours of watch time on my channel, which would equate to 65 years time spent on my brand.
Wow.
So that is time, and the more time goes, the more trust is built. And so I get people to come to the point where they're making a buying decision. And many times they're coming to me ready to go because they've already sifted through every other version and they vibe with me. And so that would be like why I think branding is important. And then you see all the people doing things at high levels and they're like, they have a brand.
Yeah.
There's a story of I don't know if I already told you guys a story. I don't know, I'm like brain fog, but here we go.
Say it.
Oh, the self-made billionaire of Panda Express. Very fun story. Like, dude created and he actually lives here in Vegas.
Oh, really?
But he consulted a marketing company here in town to help him write and sell a book. And they told him like, no one's gonna buy your book, but I'm a self-made billionaire. I have a cool story.
Yeah.
But no one knows you. But then we got Elon Musk who can put out a whistle, or Taylor Swift and say, I'm going on tour.
Yeah.
And then boom, people jump on it and it sells out. But that's all just built over time. And you want to be, it's attention to be managed, where you are hyper intentional about building your brand, but then you're also doing it in a way where you're not trying to see an outcome because you need patience.
Is that where that blissful word comes in? Will you just like define that in your own words?
It's funny because like I try to help people make money with their content. But I also try to help people who have a huge audience make money. And it's like, which one do you want? And sometimes the person that's really good at creating content doesn't have really like a business mind, and they don't know how to like
a creative mind.
Yeah, they have a creative mind, and then vice versa. But the people that are able to build audiences, they're all content because they have people that watch their stuff. And then what you don't have when you have brand is you don't have an opportunity problem. Opportunity becomes your problem. And so it's like, I sift, like I could do it all. Like I actually like made shirts for a little pop-up at my studio. People bought my shirts. Like weird. People want to buy my hat. I don't really sell my hats, but why? Because they just want they want to associate. Wow. That's what Alex would say. Branding is the association between two things. But the people that are able to build these audiences on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are people who just like, they love the process of creating. They obsess over that process. And then the fruit of that is audience. But then you get people who are starting out and they're like, I know I can make money at this. And then they
try to rush it.
Yeah. And you could feel that in the content. It's like, so the way I built my brand without knowing it was simply making hyper helpful, valuable videos. And if I unpack it, that actually influence physical behavior. And so what I mean by that was I influenced things you bought to help you advance in life. So like number one thing I get when I'm at a conference like Funnel Hacking is, bro, I bought this because of you. Like, dude, I'm doing something in my life because of you.
That's so cool.
Which I would argue that's influence.
100%.
Right? So that, but all I was doing was just trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
And I had a person in mind. I had a stay-at-home mom who wanted to make videos, and how can I make that as simple as possible from every 360 degree facet of that. And I created from that place, and from that place I was able to reach a lot of people, and people spent time on my face, even though it wasn't even, this is what's cool, it wasn't even my personal channel. I was doing it for a company called Think Media.
Yep.
My face, this my essence, there was a draw and a connection, and that's how the brand was built.
So good. Okay, I just had an epiphany. You said like a business mind and they like want to make money. We were talking about this earlier. Entrepreneurs are just kind of inherently impatient. Would you agree with that? Like we just like want it now.
Right.
But artists, I feel like, are the opposite. They know it takes time and they're willing to take, it almost like if I were to see an artist, I'd be like, you're dragging your feet. Come on, let's go. But they know that a beautiful, like great work takes time. And it's so funny, like Court over here, she helps, she's our brand director. And she is challenging me so much because she's all these amazing ideas. And I'm like, okay, and then we could have this call to action. She's like, or we could think about like brand building opportunities that are just like a different flavor and a different mindset. It's a more patient mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so hard for me. She's so right. And I'm like so thankful for her challenging my mind. But hearing you say that, like when you're content and you work on building the brand, it's going to come off so much better. Like that just blew my mind, like honestly.
Yeah. And honestly, the time gap you can create from how much you give and then when you ask, digital equity is part of that too.
Yeah.
You know, like the first 2 challenges I ran that made over 6 figures each.
Yeah.
They were all just like tinkered Frankenstein stuff.
Yeah.
But people were waiting for me to say,
right.
come on in
for you.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can create that. You know, there's something like kind of on the rise right now, and it's like YouTube golf.
YouTube what?
YouTube golf.
I never heard of that.
Wait, if this is what I think it is, you had this idea with Myron. What is it?
Oh yeah, sure. But it's just that there's golf creators making a living playing golf.
Oh, I
right?
see.
But this is like post 2020 and all the craziness. Okay. And what they did was they started just filming a bunch of friends, and I'm talking about good golf.
Yeah.
They have over 1 million subscribers, maybe 2 million. They started filming themselves golf, and they're long videos. And what they did was they provided a solution that the professional level of the sport didn't have. And that was content every day. I don't know if you knew, PGA only goes from Thursday to Sunday. So like you can't watch fresh golf content at a professional level until like the weekend.
It's like the kids that film themselves playing with toys.
100. I guess you can see it that way.
That's awesome.
That's a crazy
How
connection.
Baby Shark was born.
That's a crazy connection. But
like I'm not going to play with toys, but I'll watch you. I'm not going to play golf, but I'm going to watch you play golf.
And now we see Bryson DeChambeau, one of the world's greatest golfers, has a YouTube channel. And he has one of the top golf YouTube channels because he's investing in it. He had got Donald Trump on there.
Oh my God.
And they're like on the carts too, right?
They got GoPros on the carts, and then they go on the
it's like reality TV for the golfer.
100.
So cool.
And you know, people just put these, I put it on.
I definitely had this idea.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, you said to do this with
Myron.
We
were thinking about one of our VIP
course.
days. She was like, you know what, let's just get Myron in his element at the golf course and we'll just film it.
Yeah.
And we didn't do
like
it.
That'll be our YouTube video. No, we didn't do it.
It would have been a great idea. Wow.
But the thing is like they are so into the viewing experience, and that's why it's working.
Wow.
And so, you know, when we do our podcast, so we put all our energy into the packaging of the conversation. Like, I'd like to say, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to start, just turn on a camera and go. It's like, yeah, you do want to get it out your system. But and that's coming from the place that I know most people aren't going to watch it. But, which is like, use that time. My friend Sean says, use your time in obscurity to prepare you for popularity.
Really good.
Wow.
And so it's okay to just turn on a camera and go. But over time, the skill of YouTube, it does come down to a science and an art form. And that's why somebody walked up to me yesterday at Funnel Hacking he's been pouring thousands of dollars into his podcast. And he's like, Omar, we freaking suck at YouTube. But like, it looks good and it sounds good. And he's interviewing cool people, but it's not doing well. Whereas, and then I have this friend of mine who was like, can I pay you to just consult you with each video for a season? And his dead YouTube channel, it's changed his life in less time than I thought it would.
Wow.
He had more speaking opportunities than he ever had in the year that he took his YouTube serious. It opened doors for crazy guests. And then those even guests that people didn't know got a ton of views. So now he's adding value to the guests. And this is like, now my friend Neil is creating brand. Like his brand is strong on YouTube and he was killing it on Instagram.
What were some examples of things that you saw he was trying, but you made adjustments to?
Yeah. So number one was just the intentionality of the video. Like I hate to feel like I'm limiting people, but you got to just pick one thing to talk about. Like, but I got Alex Hermosi on my podcast. Pick one thing with Alex. Let Alex break down one thing, whether it's sales, content, branding. Like you decide that as the host of the content, and then just let it be the one thing, right?
That's really good.
And so like people being like a buffet of conversation that actually will hurt
100.
video. Even with a great guest.
YouTube isn't best for a variety show.
Oh, wow.
It wants to identify the channel to a specific audience. That's all YouTube wants to do is keep people on
the channel
platform.
or the video?
Yeah.
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
we're the sales girls. So YouTube knows that we're selling and talking about selling.
Sure.
And then the video being isolated to one subtopic
Of sell.
Yes.
of selling and like our kind of brand.
Yeah.
It's happy with that.
Yeah, it is. And then you can find different ways to attack it. Because
Yeah.
I think you can view your library like I do it, like an archive.
Yeah.
And like it's just a
Good.
place where if somebody lands on this channel that is in this world of
Mhm.
trying to figuring out
Yes.
X, that this channel could be the resource.
Cool.
And so, yeah, like it's crazy. So just an example is my friend was able to interview Alex Ramosi, and this other guy that yesterday it said we suck at YouTube interviewed Alex Ramosi, 10,000 views on that interview. Womp womp.
Mm-hmm.
This pre-planned, pre-decided conversation, and it also sets up the guest.
Yes.
And I know that we're talking podcast, but we can go into like YouTube development and ideation and all that stuff. But it allowed him to shine and be very clear. And so the video promise lines up with the actual content in the video itself, and then it creates a satisfied viewer.
Wow.
That's all YouTube wants to do is satisfy the viewer. This is why clickbait is like ruined stuff, because at a time when YouTube didn't really have an algorithm, they would promote famous people in front of their audiences. Now, like subscribers have mattered less more than ever because you can have a video just take off.
Right.
And then so long story short, like Neil's conversation with Alex, a little over 100,000 views, but then he interviewed someone else that isn't known on YouTube at all, but like very successful guy. They could have went how to become $100 million entrepreneur or how to build a business general, but they talked about email marketing. 140,000 views.
And these are things that you kind of noticed in his content that you said, okay, talk about one thing and then be more specific in your.
Yeah, it's like
title.
deciding what's I like to call the North Star.
So good.
Uh,
Wait, did you say the email marketing had 140,000 views
yes.
versus a $100 million business that would not have done as well?
It wouldn't have done as well.
Whoa.
But here's what happens is we watch people who are so further down the line, like Diary of the CEO, and they have even then he's still pretty dialed, but like, they got 2.5. Joe Rogan's like Donald Trump episode 500.
Yeah.
That's brand. Like he's built that over time.
You can't emulate
so he can
that
just do
and
that.
Work.
The reason why I even did the good golf analogy, which I don't even know why that went. I left it like crazy as a piece. Was they released a video with no title.
Oh wow.
And it got 1 million views in the first day.
What?
That's brand.
Wow.
But that's built over showing up consistently and over time. So yeah, let's unpack it. Like use my brain right now.
Yeah.
What do you want? What are you trying to
do? I'm still stuck on the email marketing doing 140,000 views. That's great. That seems so like snooze fest. But specific. Yeah. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. So I have a question for you. So yesterday, Andy Elliott spoke at Funnel Hacking Live, and he was like, yeah, I posted sales training on YouTube. He's like, accidentally did it, right? And it did really well. And my perspective, we obviously train very specifically. And I always feel like training and learning material, it's giving school and not a good way. And it's a snooze fest unless you buy. When you buy, you're like more engaged. But if you don't buy, it's like, oh, this is boring. I don't want to think about this. But Andy Elliott saying that yesterday, I was like, man, do we need to think about YouTube as a sales like training
100
platform where we actually like genuinely train people?
Mm-hmm.
My belief has always been like, oh, that's boring.
Yep.
And people aren't going to watch it. And now I'm questioning everything because it's so much more specific.
Question everything.
Okay.
No. So this is a really good example because that's kind of what I did. And what he was saying is even what I would encourage people to do early in their YouTube journey. And that is to create search-based content.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they won't perform, it might not perform amazing off the get-go, but you might look a year down the line and be like, oh snap, like it got 100,000 views in a year, but it's because people were searching. Now, it comes down to the type of viewer you have. And if you are educating and the people that are watching are staying, like they're spending time with you. Now, if you want it to be more interesting, I would just include more human. Like I wouldn't categorize interesting in videos as overproduced
Okay.
or like you acting.
Okay.
Now, if like it's your personality to be fun and whatever, like do that, like be you. But like one thing that makes Andy Elliott's sales training videos helpful is sometimes it's just shot in a room that he's actually training people in.
Yeah.
And so it's a learning environment created on YouTube, and YouTube is like we literally came up with the phrase YouTube University.
Yeah.
Where like there are people
That's
who
so
are
true.
successful in life because they're on YouTube and they're typing in how to do XYZ or whatever, you know? And so search is a great way to get discovered on YouTube. But then learning your audience and continuing to serve them is how you build the thing. So like, good example, just literally, sometimes it makes me make a switch in even the content calendar. So like I created a video called, you know, like how to be rich on YouTube or something like that. And I talk about like sponsor your own videos.
Yeah. So good.
It's your own, your content. Like, and then people are like, what do you mean by that? Like, what am I supposed to sponsor with? Like, so then like I got all this feedback on one video. So I quickly made a video that was like, by the end of this video, your YouTube channel will be monetized, which is like a crazy thing because people think you need like this like crazy thing. And I just broke down what it looks like to sponsor a YouTube video and how to lead magnets and all that stuff. And that video is like brought in so many subscribers and it's actually even weeks and weeks after it's released has gotten traction.
So cool.
Which is why like YouTube's awesome, because like a video can take off months after you upload it.
Ooh, that's encouraging.
Because YouTube is trying to put the video in front of people.
Right.
But this is why if you can do this stuff up front,
Yeah.
you're giving it the best shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you have a question.
Are you cold? I'm freezing. But if you're not,
am I cold?
Yeah.
I actually am not. And
okay,
I'm
go,
always
leave
cold.
it. Leave it.
But I'm good. I'm either way.
Is it? No, I'm good.
Yeah, really quick question. So when Andy Elliott spoke, he was coaching us on YouTube, right? He's like, I did this by accident.
Yep.
Most of you aren't going to do what I'm about to say, but listen up. And one of the things he said was, I made the title exactly what was coming out of the search bar. And when it said people also search for the next video, he said, that's how I made my next video. And then he said to the crowd, did I do it kind of like the title or exactly like the title? The answer was exactly like the title, like just do it. And we are very coachable people. And so I just want you to unpack this title thing. You know, other people, I mean, there's a lot of strategy around just like copy the title because it's SEO. It's what YouTube is serving right now. So what are your thoughts on that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's great. I think in a day gone by, that was like the thing to do.
Because that was a while ago.
Yeah, and I would even do it. Like, and then I would make my videos I would do it every year. I'd make the same exact video.
Really?
With the same exact title. But the information inside was updated.
Yeah.
I think you can do that still, but you do want the title to read fresh. I think that's the word. And something that can make a title read fresh is adding the year. That's like one. So if it's just like, you know, how to know if you're a salesperson and in 2025, let's just say, just coming up with something. So that's one way to do it. Or you could say it like, how to know if you're good at sales, and then in parentheses, it's like a whisper. Like you do it with your family or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's something that adds like a fresh take, and it'll break through the noise more if you can add something in the title that is a little more not so generic as the word. Like just copy paste if you type in sales training spacebar, which let's do it right now.
Yeah, please.
All right. So if we go,
are you going on Google or YouTube?
I'm going on YouTube.
Okay.
And you can do it on Google.
Andy says Google.
Yeah, you can do it on Google too.
Okay.
I mean, here's what you can also do. This is something I tell people to do is find articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a good.
Yeah, you just go sales training articles
on
Google. And then I'm scrolling past the sponsored stuff. And then we have role playing as a sales training school.
Oh my gosh.
10 sales training elements that lead to success. Sales training : the ultimate guide to maximizing your team's performance. The gap in sales training. So these are things that YouTube or Google just served me. And then, but what's cool is you can make it. So if it's 10 sales training elements that lead to success, then you can make it 5, you can make it 3, you can
Right.
make it 7, you can make it 21 essentials. So like you could make it yours. One of the best things I can encourage people on YouTube is to make the videos only you can make.
Mhm.
That's good.
Then nobody else can make it.
Good.
And so like, how many clients have you closed?
Mhm.
Or how long have you guys been doing sales? So then like, here's something that's really working well on YouTube is, you know, I've sold 5,000 people or a specific number.
Yeah.
Here's what they all had in common.
So good.
And like only you can make that video.
That is brilliant.
So that's like actually that's the next like solo pod I'm working on is I believe I personally with my face, hello, I believe I uploaded around close to 400 YouTube videos in the span of, I mean since I was in high school, but like intentionally since 2018. Like I uploaded 403 YouTube videos. Here's how to win at YouTube.
Wow.
Like sign
It's
me
so
up.
interesting because on the one side there's like do what's proven, and then you're saying do what specifically only you can do, but also I understand the nuance of like, but that's what people want, so make money, have students, know what people have in common. So you're painting for me the art of this right now.
Yeah, it's really
and like
helpful.
don't be so like rigid.
Yeah. And there's a tension. Sometimes it's kind of like David and Goliath. Like David had 5 stones in his bag. Like he like that arsenal of video ideas, you can always have like those in the back pocket so that when you need to pull one out and just be like, let's just deliver consistent, great video.
Good.
And then other times it's like, no, we're going to like swing for the fences with this idea.
Right.
And the concept that I'm talking about is condensing time for the viewer. I read 10 books on sales. Here's what they all had in common. You know, here's the 10 principles of sales from the 10 books about money.
That's
or whatever.
so good.
You know, so like you're literally telling people, I'm giving you time by you clicking this video. You know?
Yeah. Amen. And really quick, do you ever change a title after and you're like, that didn't like
100.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to, if I feel like the title is really true to the video, maybe it's like the artist Omar.
Yeah.
I don't feel right to change it. But like after I like watch it again and again and again, even after it's released, and I'm like, not the whole thing, but just like, I don't like, I think
something's off.
I think we can go this way with it. So I do change it.
Because you're trying to create congruency and you're like that through line. You want that to be the queen and the whatever the point
North
is.
Star.
Yeah. Not like just the clickbait of it, obviously. But does this serve the video the best? That's what you're looking for.
Which is why having the title before you even create the video is the way to really go.
Yeah.
And so I usually have working titles when I do something. Like 3 to 5. And then we just dial it in. And then the thumbnail is its own, you know, contrasted, complementary thing to the title. But yeah, it is like, it's just like this constant, like, just trying to like, is this the title? I'm always asking that question. Like, you know, what angle?
Okay. I have 2 kind of unrelated questions. So what I'm hearing from you is it's actually probably not good to think about YouTube as top of funnel. Because when I think about like a funnel, it's like, oh, the point is to go to the next step and to move them to a decision in some place. But YouTube is genuinely like service-based mentality. Would you agree with that?
100.
Okay. So
and I mean, and because it is why it can be.
Yeah.
It's just not the
It's not the
main
point.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's where I'm like missing the sales girl mindset.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about, like becoming from a YouTuber to a sales girl. It is 2 different universes and it's so good. Okay. So here's my next question.
I will say, and one way I leveraged that just recently is I just passed 100,000 subs. As people could see, you could see in behind Macy's shot, there's a silver plaque, turn up.
Oh yeah. So good.
But when I did that, I said, if you want to learn YouTube, comment the word YT on Instagram.
Yeah.
I didn't send them through anything. I sent them my podcast on the YouTube game plan.
Yeah. It's so good.
And then they can watch it on their own time. Like,
So you didn't collect their email in that, just send them a YouTube video.
I'm okay to extend that ask. Like, and the ask for my challenge is in my podcast.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to, cool.
Yeah.
But like, just
totally
make it simple.
different.
Okay, go ahead.
Patience is cool.
Okay. So my last video, it was like 5 phrases to stop saying and what to replace them with. And it was the most like technical video I feel like I've done. And it did okay, but the comments were consistent.
Mm.
The comments were like, I would love to see a role play. I would love to see you audit someone's stuff. I would love to see.
Can you audit mine?
And I am down to clown, baby. I would love to do that. But I'm trying to think, like we do that in the Sell Your Offer Challenge all the time.
Yep.
But I want to do it in a YouTube format that is like exciting and engaging. And I don't know. So do you have any suggestions on how to do that?
So like role play stuff.
Role play or auditing calls. I would rather do a role play because people can see the before and after.
No, yeah. I think the role play is strong. Like there's even some sales videos that I've seen it like a live role play. I think Grant Cardone has one where he's on the phone and like it was filmed and like he closes the guy.
Okay.
But I think what you want to do is unpack what this role play was to help a person do.
Okay.
And then I would shoot a separate intro.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like people know what they're getting into. So I would, let's just take, for instance, like give me somebody in your inner circle that you just helped recently.
In a role play scenario?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you just want context on it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So she was role playing and she was doing the typical thing where she was asking about questions related to her offer versus asking about questions related to the person.
Okay.
And so you can go down this offer route, which kind of puts them in a like logical state versus having the right people knowledge to be able to frame the offer for the person.
Yep.
So we just kind of stopped going down that path and paused and redirected to go on the other path. And it was like an instant, oh, I see how different those two conversations could have played out.
Yep. And by the way, this is really cool because it's working right now as far as just like consulting content.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And so and this is what my brain does because I'm a consumer of YouTube. I'm going to Dan Henry's YouTube channel because I remember he had a conversation with a lady where he helped her business.
Okay.
Alex Hormozi is doing this right now too.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, the conversation was, here it goes. I helped her create a $37,000, $500 a month business in 19 minutes. So
Man, so we have stuff from the Sell Your Offer Challenge from the VIP room.
Yeah.
We could, because we helped a girl with role play and then she made an $8,000 sale the next day from the role play that we did.
I mean, there's been $30,000 days in the challenge.
Yeah.
So there's the hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the kind of probably like the thumbnail, $8,000 the next day.
Okay.
And then the title is, well, something you guys could leverage too. I would leverage as in test is just sales expert : fill in the blank.
Okay.
It's kind of like financial advisor : like business expert : that's working too.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say 100. Okay. That'll be, that type of content is just, it's hard to leave it because it's human.
Okay.
You know, and it's real. It's not polished. It's like,
yeah,
you'll show up and be like, are you somebody, you know, do the enrolling thing and be like, there's this, you know, somebody on one of our calls, and yeah, just run it.
I have another idea. My little niece is 7 years old and she has to sell a piece of gum to her class. And it's in a couple of weeks. And I was like, man, I wonder if I could like teach her, like, because we always say communicate like someone's 5 years old, and film myself teaching her. Would that be? That'd be
really cool.
You think?
And
so?
watch her get
Here's
better.
why I would like that. Here's why I would like for you to do that.
Okay.
Because you just found a situation that only you can make that type of video.
Okay.
Right. That's one part.
Yeah.
The other part is that idea. Is like, you, as the expert, you're like, the idea of like speaking to a third grader is like a sales principle.
It is. Yeah.
And then you're like putting that on display, like actually.
Cool.
That is a very YouTuber concept with your expertise.
Okay.
So I love that.
Okay. She's out of school next week. So
yeah.
I'll do it with her then.
I blew up this third grader's gum business. Like,
well, it's funny. My sister took art sales training and she kind of already started helping her. And I'll tell you, she said, this gum will help you have fresh breath so you're confident to speak. So she like wrote that down. But the problem is it's not like perfect for other third graders.
Right.
Like you want to make the message for the third graders, not for what you think it should be. So that'd be a good little just like learning moment.
So good.
And you can film her do her thing and then do commentary on it.
Yeah. And help her. Because what's cool is what we do is we'll have people do it. We refine and they do it again and they do it again and they do it again and they do it again. And people watch them transform within like 4 reps.
Crazy.
And so they get to see, wow, it really is just practice to become an expert. So yeah, that'd be fun.
Love that idea.
So cute.
Yeah.
And like, so something like that, it's probably going to take some planning.
Yeah.
And you're going to like some equipment and like the edit's going to be a little thing, but this is why you want the practical too. Because
Okay.
that's an, in the sense of like, I never want people to create an unsustainable YouTube channel, right?
Okay.
And so if that, you can't get bit by the bug and see how like, okay, this went crazy, like blew up.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. Then what's going to happen is you're going to start like playing too extreme of the game as an entrepreneur, the game of YouTube, you know,
Right.
and you may potentially like just lose your step on like the converting content,
Right.
like a thing like that, probably super widespread. Like,
Okay.
and it's cool because there is alignment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of like in my world,
Mhm.
when I go like content creator conversation, it works better or it
Yeah.
works great. But then a lot of times those people aren't the buyers,
Converting,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's the tension. That's
the
where I'm
tension.
like,
But this is where like when you have like the insight at
Yeah.
this place, it's like, oh dang, it's meekness. It's like
yeah.
I know when I can like, I don't want to say the
Right.
word whip it out, but I just said it.
Well, becoming an artist really is through like the action. You
Mhm.
start to see the nuance, and like we're just so early in
Yeah.
this game. It's like, okay, well, we put out 10 decent videos.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing it for years, but it's like, okay, we
Yeah.
got serious X, 2 months ago.
Yeah. I just had a realization.
What is it?
Well, one of the things that we always talk about being a mom
Mm-hmm.
is, you only have so much time to work. And so we got to make it effective and make sure it is worth our time. And so what you just said, you're like, you can grow your brand, but not really grow your business. Like I have a fear of like doing stuff that's like distracting or a
Mhm.
waste of time or gets us off track and we get off. So this is just, I'm having a lot of realizations
Yeah.
about myself.
And I hope you know that like success leaves clues.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you have a video that did really well.
Yeah.
When I had my first podcast kind of like pop off or go viral for me, I unpacked the crap out of that video.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what did I really do here?
Yeah.
And when I unpack your video, the environment in which you shot it in was there's something to say there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like predictable,
Yeah.
And then it was also like the way you packaged that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very niche idea that had general appeal or mass appeal. 1% of women, like all successful women, do this.
Yeah.
Very like, okay, what's the this?
Yeah.
And so that part of it, and then I mean your delivery. I think your delivery was so personable. It wasn't so polished. You had your MacBook there. I think
it was
like
really, really good.
Yeah.
The ad hit at like the perfect time, like right after the.
And you know
the
what's so ironic? That day, my kid ended up being sick and we were planning on filming it, almost didn't film it. And I was like, I called Lindsay, I said, just come over and we'll do it during his nap time. So I didn't have that long. I didn't have long to overthink it. I just said, we're going to get this done. We have 45 minutes to get this done. Let's go.
And the reason why you want to do your best to be hyper intentional in the front end is so that so the video can do its best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it performs really well, you want to unpack it because most of the time, people who have the video that takes off, it's not the one you expected to take off.
Oh yeah.
And this, you can ask Myron, you can ask me, you can ask Alex Ramosi. Like the video I didn't plan on taking off. The video that you thought did, usually it's like, oh snap, it's not doing as good as I
That's funny
thought.
that one that you're like, oh, this one's doing well. I had like 6,000 views so far. I did that after the one I was supposed to be doing. It was like,
oh yeah,
the mom method one, and I had that one. I was like, well, my camera's still working. Like, let me just do it while I'm sitting here.
Yeah, it's more like spirited. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of that personable, off the cuff. Like, hey, I already know this stuff. I'm not like practiced. I'm I'm in a state of knowing.
Yep.
And I'll say, I think so that content that from that video, I've been spending a long time studying it. Because it was an offer. It was like part of an offer that I sold like forever ago. And so it really has been like part of my being.
Yes.
And I think that's important too. It can't just be stuff that you just learned about yesterday and you're just like regurgitating stuff.
100%.
It has to be in you.
Right. So
okay,
good.
so this brings me to something that I want you to coach us on, okay? So you talked about being like, what were the words you said about kind of creating something that can be sustainable? Like, don't create content that you can't sustain.
I would say don't build your channel on unsustainable
Okay, don't build
content.
it.
Yeah.
So
like Mr. Beast, low key has unsustainable.
Yeah.
And so there's just been a lot of ideas tossed around, which that's what we do. So one of them is like how frequently, like, okay, a goal is like twice a week. Oh, let's do vlogs. Oh, let's you just had another thing, something else that we said. And it's like, okay, but can we sustain that? You know, we have sick kids, we grow kids, we give birth, and then we do it. You know, it's like we're in a season where like, and I'm just like, I really focus on sustainability.
Yeah.
Like, what can we enjoy doing for the long haul?
Yeah.
And so what we've landed on right now is quality content that we can film in our own offices.
Yeah.
Like, no one needs to be there but us. Hit record, audio is fresh, visual is fresh. And it's like once a week. So it gives each video time to breathe as well.
Yes.
Which has been really cool. Cause like when her video took off, mine was next. So I'm like, I don't want to like stop anything. You know, I don't know how that works, but
I could see you. Let's just skip this week so it can get more views.
Yeah. But we didn't, you know, we kept going, and that one actually did well. So anyways, it's been really cool. But what do you have to say about that? Just because like vlog content, even I'll be in the zone with my kids. I'm like, oh, that was a great day. But like, I didn't have my, you know, I didn't have my stuff with me, you know? So right now we're in the flow of just that kind of like crispy, like kind of office
it's really
content.
Good. Okay. The first thing I'll say is it's your YouTube channel. Do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With that being said, how somebody finds you, I'll say it like this: the expectation you create for the viewer is on you. And so if you want to
whatever that is, I don't want to do that. Yeah.
And so
no circus.
And so if you know yourself and you can assess yourself, it's just like remove those obstacles, which a lot of times, man, I just don't have the time to edit videos. Hey, don't edit the video.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah, don't edit the video. So like, even if you have a thought and you have like 3 points and you feel like you can just take out your phone, selfie flow, and like that could be a pattern interrupt video for your YouTube channel.
Like on a walk or something.
Yeah. And then you might be able to do that. And then you can do that again. It's a sustainable way to create.
Yeah.
And then do that.
Yeah.
If you guys have the stationary setup at the studio where you guys do conversation stuff, that's cool too. Another predictable, sustainable way to show up. Like, yeah, I don't think personally, I don't think the trick, if as soon as you start getting into hacks on YouTube, I feel like you missed the point. Because it's like, it's not worth building something that once it's built, you like
don't want to do it anymore.
Right. Yeah. You know?
That's so good.
And like, let's take, I like Alex Hermosi and Myron Golden. So like Myron has not moved from his studio. 2 angles, live streaming, million subscribers.
Yeah.
Crazy. Long form content. Alex like went the Mr. Beast route and he created sensational content that got a lot of views. And then he had an epiphany moment when he talked to somebody and they were like, dude, I don't even watch your content anymore. Why? You're talking about what you eat for breakfast, bro. I don't care about what you eat. I'm an entrepreneur.
He left the niche.
He's like, shoot. So like, it's like, yeah, which game do you want to play? Like if Alex kept on that trajectory, he probably would be way bigger than he is right now on YouTube, but it would just be, you would have to leverage it as a media company.
I love how he talked about that too, because he positioned it like, you know, I ran a test for 6 months or whatever.
Was that a podcast we both listened to?
I'm not sure.
Because I've heard him say that, and he even said, he was like, once I realized it was not giving the numbers results, we went back to business, is what he called it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And, you know, a new entrepreneur that kind of just blew up this last year was Dan Martell.
Yeah.
And
I love his stuff.
Just very clean. Like, same shirt, same hairdo. Like, but he has a place where he sits down and he creates.
Yeah.
And then he also, when he's on the go, it's still succinct, but it is vlog style.
Yeah.
You know, like 21 things I wish I knew at 21. Or
it's so good.
So, but he's making content only he can make.
Yeah. I think thinking about it like a pattern interrupt. If
that's
really helpful.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, it's funny. I don't think a lot of times, like I realize that Myron sometimes like doesn't know what he did when he did it, but he's just brilliant. So it's good. You know?
Yeah.
But he accidentally uploaded a Bible study content on his main channel.
I saw that.
And then his video that he posted on the Bible study content was like, I am so sorry, ...
And it was like him just in his office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just apologized. And I'm sure he was being,
he's being genuine.
He's being genuine. He actually was we were driving to the golf course on Monday and the video that he planned to release while he was here didn't go out. And like his soul was ripped out of his chest.
Yeah.
He's like, why didn't the video get released?
Yeah.
What? You know, it's like he really is adamant about those like upload times. And but he cares a lot. And I know that came from a true place, but
Yeah.
that was a very smart thing to do.
Yeah.
you know, to have done that.
Spending so much time with Myron, I will ask him questions about his challenge conversions. I'm like, okay, he's like, I have no idea. But he's like, I know this video that I just posted yesterday has this many views,
His
and this
baby
is
for sure.
He knows his YouTube stats.
Dude, he was refreshing like this.
Out of a dead sleep.
Yeah.
Out of a dead sleep, he could list his YouTube stats, but he don't know nothing about nothing else. And that has been huge for me because I'm like, wow, I might be obsessing over the wrong things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is as the expert in whatever field people may be in, there is power in knowing the good enough for the person you're helping.
Right.
Because I realize that after a point, it's overwhelm. And I could like overwhelm people all day.
Totally.
But there is like a good, and most people aren't even doing the things to be good enough, you know?
Right.
So
what are those things?
In my world, you know, it's posting consistently.
Yeah.
Like it's been 3 weeks, sis. Yeah. Like where's the video at? Like, you know, why aren't you like you cannot grow without posting videos.
That's right.
So there is a good enough, like the phone quality in a decently, you know, quiet environment is good enough.
Yeah.
So like, I want people to realize that place. And then from there, once you get that part, then you go to the next, you know, level.
Good.
I have a question, a consulting question again. So one thing that we can't commit to, but could be an occasional fun pattern interrupt is Macy and I together.
All day.
And we call it like the Sales Girl Show, and just kind of like a pop-up. As a viewer and a consumer of content, what would you enjoy in that style of podcast?
It's very similar. Like when I like to call it a solo pod, even though you guys have solo, just you guys, and then, but I think it's good because it's a conversational type content, which will probably be the easiest type of content for you guys to create, I would imagine. But I think you guys being together is powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you're, what are you looking for?
Could be cool.
What?
Because we're always learning like separate things. And I'm like, yeah, listen to what I just learned.
Yeah. If we
just save it for the podcast, and it's like one person kind of comes prepared and the other person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way I would break up a 2-person podcast is one person's delivering the content and the other person's the audience advocate.
Ooh, that's good.
Like the interviewer.
Yeah.
That's good.
So when I'm
the MC, I guess, like what you were saying.
Yeah. Or like, wait, what would you say then if somebody was in this position though? So it's like,
audience advocate.
And Art's that for me when we shoot a solo pod.
That's really good.
He's like,
we
but like
totally do that.
Some people are W-2 employees. They don't have all the time in the world. And like,
wow.
what would you say to that?
Yeah.
And it's just because he did that, like it
fired your brain up.
Yeah. And it caught somebody like, oh yeah, that's me. But I have to try my best to be that when I'm interviewing the experts. That's why like curiosity is the superpower.
That's right.
And so I try to be audience advocate.
Make the conversation public.
For the expert. And
good.
Yeah. But
really
yes,
cool.
You guys 100%.
That's a cool.
I like the cadence. Choose your cadence. I think 1 to 2 a week is healthy for educational content. You could hypothetically do like one, you guys both podcast style in the first week of the month, and then like a fun vlog style. Like in my opinion, I think you are in the testing phase.
Totally.
And I think actually we're always in the testing phase. I didn't realize I was actually insecure to do solo podcasts because I was like, nobody cares about what I have to say. Everybody cares what the person I have on has to say. And I have gotten resounding feedback. People say when it's just you, I like it better.
That's so awesome.
Which is cool. Praise God.
Yeah.
But the thing I was afraid about is actually what people like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that unless I just am testing and trying. And so now I see it as like, you know, we'll just do the solo pods when I feel like it's a good season to drop it with a timing of the challenge and stuff. And so our efforts are, you know, maximized at the best, you know, ability.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coaching us.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Seriously.
Does it seem easier? What's still hard?
It seems like a challenge I'm excited for, not that I'm dreading.
Okay.
So that's good. it's cool because like I feel like every time I see you, I've gone through something, and so I feel different. So I'm hearing you different. So I feel like encouraged, not annoyed. Because we're not good at something, you're annoyed with it. You know, you're like,
we're not living in a land of like we should be doing that. It's like, oh, we are. Let's like tweak it
and let's tweak it
and iterate.
Yeah. So I feel excited. But I don't mind it being hard. Like I want to feel the tension.
What part of the creating process seems most difficult?
I mean, the flight here is how long? 3 hours, 4 hours? I spent the whole time writing a podcast. Okay. Like points and examples and demonstrations. And so this is what I do. I write it. Then I do a rep, just audio for the podcast, like our audio podcast. And then I film it. And a lot of times I will refilm it because I go to sleep and I'm like, I hated that. I'm doing it again.
Dang, it's like I've been told this phrase by a friend. Her name's Jerisha. She's like a coach. And she says like she sees her content like a church. And it's like you're the pastor.
That's good.
And you're writing a sermon.
Yeah.
And I love how much you're putting into it, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I would just argue.
Yeah, please.
That people aren't that smart.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Making it simple is actually harder. You know what I mean? Like it takes me longer to make it more simple rather than saying
you're not trying to sound smarter. You're trying to sound simpler.
I'm trying to sound simpler. And I just want it to flow, you know. So
and then the other thing is, I know like you say you like wrote like a 1,000-page PDF.
Oh, and like so quick, yeah.
Why don't you just make those bullet points?
That's probably what's I that's my training material, and I've never thought about YouTube as a training platform.
Okay, yeah. So here's what's cool about that. What what helps me give it quote unquote all away is that no one watches it all.
Yeah.
No one watches it all in chronological order.
Right.
And even the packaging of it could be different than how it was packaged in the pamphlet or
not a pamphlet.
In the brochure.
The textbook.
No, I know. In the sales textbook. Yeah, I mean, what like Persuade for Good, the book you guys read.
Yeah.
How much content have you created from that book? That's like inside.
We could probably do more. That was definitely like a belief shifting book, not an educating book. See what I'm saying?
It wasn't a tactic.
Yes.
It was not tactics at all. We wanted to get people's minds right to even think about selling could be good. You know what I mean? We definitely could go into that.
Yeah, our next book will be a lot more like frameworks and some of the strategies we do and teach.
No.
And then the other thing is, who do you feel like in your industry is killing it on YouTube?
Yeah, that's a good question.
In like the sales industry, women in sales on YouTube is one of the crustiest corners of the world I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, old, low video quality, the whole deal. It's wild out there.
Okay, what about men?
Yeah.
Well, it just depends. Who would you describe? Like, I would describe Myron in sales,
right?
But I don't know if he teaches sales.
But he goes into business.
He goes into business.
But I would say business is his mass appeal.
Yeah.
And then communication and sales is like
his.
I feel like that's
yeah. And sales really is our.
I see Jeremy Miner on ads a lot. I don't really watch his YouTube.
Well, yeah, I know his YouTube videos. Like they're role play in person.
Are they?
Many times, his best performing videos are literally him on stage. Already did a talk. Already prepared the thing.
So we're actually gonna go train a like a office and like local to us, so 10 people.
Oh man,
the Home Depot.
Yeah, it's like the Home Depot bought them. They're an interior designer.
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's a great opportunity for us to.
So good. Yeah. Like that. Like
honestly,
capture
that's
that
a
stuff.
And if it's some of those things, we're like, oh, it's not really worth our time. You know, their budget is $10,000, and that's a whole day plus us preparing. But it is worth our time because we can leverage it.
I just spoke at a college on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, did you film it?
I filmed it better than they did, and that's why I filmed it. But more than that, I took a loss.
Yeah.
For doing it.
Yeah.
Like they were like, bro, that's how much the flight was for you to get here. Like we're only gonna pay you this. Like I was like, don't even worry.
Yeah.
You're good. Why did I do that? Why did I take a loss to do that? Because of the perception and brand I could create. Like from I asked my wife, I was like, babe, how cool did that look? OMAR'S on a college campus.
So cool.
Teaching a comms class.
Yeah.
So
on a stage during career week.
So cool.
But I say all that to say that sometimes the opportunity, although it costs something, because you're leveraging it, is well worth it.
That's right.
And if I'm leveraging it for brand,
Mhm.
it's always worth it.
That's right.
Amen.
Kind of why I don't mind doing like, let's go to a city and be there for a week and
Mhm.
like let serendipity conversations happen. And as we do that, we'll find opportunities in between to make it like, dang, we just on the move, bro. People always like, Omar, you travel a lot. I don't. I'm home
Yeah.
every Sunday. I'm at
Yeah.
church every Sunday. Even during the week, we don't travel that much. I
Yeah.
make it look like your boy's doing his thing.
It's so good.
But that is brand, right?
So good.
So,
oh, it's so
in
good.
this, like you just minimized what you're gonna do for this company,
Mhm.
but I would try to create a perception
An
on how
overkill, like going back to your original.
like
Yeah,
we're
brand
going into
overkill.
training. They actually were just acquired by Home Depot,
Oh yeah.
and we're gonna let you in on some of the training that we
Ooh.
did.
So good. And
And-
it's a bunch of girlies too, like
Mhm.
interior
That's so
designers.
cool.
Oh, it's so up our alley.
And I would think, and this is where the preparation. Most people actually are already being the content.
Yeah.
They're doing presentations, they're doing meetings, they're doing conversations, and it's just not being captured.
Mm.
And so I would think through like, because like that Q&A, now I'm thinking that there should probably be 2 angles, or at least a person that's going like this when somebody's asking the question.
Yeah. We'll have
I even
ladies
think
there.
about like how much great social content might come from that.
Mhm.
Ooh, I'm excited now.
It's
Yeah, great.
it's a content playground with that. With
so
that.
fun. All the role play we're about to do.
Yeah.
Love it.
But,
Awesome.
yeah, it's
Omar, you
good
just
stuff.
fired me up.
Good.
We adore you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for everything.
Thank you.
Heck
Our
yeah.
people love you on our channel too. Your videos have always done so well, so they're gonna be so excited.
Likewise, it's like when people love it when we get together.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
meant to
know.
be.
And so
Who knows what the future holds?
who knows what
huh?
the future holds? 2025.
That's right. Thank you, Omar.
Yeah.
Where can they find you? All the stuff. Let them know.
Just stay right here on the Sales Girls YouTube
Aw.
channel.
Do not.
We'll link it all.
If you want, you can. Yeah, I got a podcast. You can follow me on Instagram. My name is Wild, so you just link it up.
Say it for them.
Yeah.
So they know.
Omar El Takori on
El
every
Takori, the
The
platform.
coolest name.
Coolest name.
Thank you.
Thanks, Omar.
Thank you.